I'm very proud to be your Director of Athletics, not only today but all year long. And we've got a game at 1 o'clock against Buffalo. And we're going to also honor our inductees at halftime on the field. So we hope you enjoy this morning's activities. The Hall of Fame at Temple began in 1969. What is that, 42 years? If my math's correct. Here we are in 2011. We're going to get started right away with our first inductee. She's got to go somewhere else today, and I'm sure she's going to explain that to you. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear back there? Not at all. Not at all? How about now? The people in the front row are covering their ears. I'm yelling at them so loud. How about now? Okay. Our first inductee this morning, Alma Cavacci, women's volleyball, 1997 to 2000, from Tirana, Albania, and Margol High School. Alma Cavacci earned ASICS All-American honors in 1999 and 2000. The two-year team captain also earned AVCA All-District honors 3 times. Alma sparked Temple to 3 consecutive Atlantic 10 Conference championships and 3 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances, 97 through 99. Twice named the Atlantic 10's most valuable player in a 3-time first team conference selection, Alma was named the Conference Rookie of the Year in 97. On the career chart, she is second in kills, graduating just 18 kills shy of the all-time record, second in hitting attempts, and second in digs. She was drafted into the United States Professional Volleyball League during its inaugural 2002 season. Following graduation, Alma joined the coaching ranks. She remained active on the court as a member of the Albanian national team and competed in the 2005 FIVB World Championships. Currently, Alma is in her 5th season as the head coach of women's volleyball at Army, helping the Black Knights to the 2009 Patriot League Championship and their first NCAA tournament appearance in school history. Alma has been named the Patriot League Coach of the Year twice. And I want to thank the Military Academy for letting her come down here today. I know that she's going to be on her way back after this and not be with us at halftime because she has a contest with Army today. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you please join with me in Dr. Alma Cavacci in the Temple University Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, hello everyone. It's pretty loud, huh? Okay. Well, I'd like to thank the committee for honoring me with this award. Thank you, I truly appreciate it. I'm humbled to receive it. Temple is my family, and so is my volleyball team during that time, and it's truly an honor to be here today. Coming from Tirana, Albania to the United States is definitely a challenge. At 17-year-old, my English language wasn't very good at the time, and I remember that first day when I came in, and the coach had our manager, and now is my best friend, show me Temple around, and he was like, "Well, Alma, do you like to joke? You know, do you like jokes?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I like to jog." So that was awesome, but that wasn't it. And then the same day, I remember a football player walking around and saying, "What's up? What's up?" And I turned around and I actually looked up, and he goes, "Oh no." It means how you doing. So the language barrier was there, but it made me stronger, it made me more confident, and professors such as Tina Sloan-Green over here in the audience has been an amazing mentor to me during that time. I remember taking the racism in college athletics, and she was truly amazing during that time and mentoring me through that, so thank you so much, Mr. Tina. what's amazing about Temple is the diversity. So I would like to thank everyone for continuing to work in diversity at Temple. I didn't feel like that strange student athlete there because we had a lot of players from overseas. I remember, especially in the volleyball team, we had at least 3 or 4 international athletes. But also in other teams, it was very, very important to be part of that. So I thank you for continuing to work in the diversity. I would also like to thank my coaches that are not here today. My coach Bob Bertucci, that's actually coaching at Lehigh, and we were in the same conference. We did beat them just 2 weeks ago. No big deal. And then my assistant coach that was from Israel, that he mentored me through that first year, and he's now the head coach at University of San Francisco. It has been truly an amazing experience, and my passion for volleyball still to this day is I'm coaching at Army. So amazed at the confidence that Temple gave me. So and my self-esteem. Also, I would like to thank two of my very important people that are in the audience today. My sports supervisor at Army, Monica Love. She's my best friend, my mentor here. So thank you so much, Monica. And also a former player of mine that I recruited at Army. She said earlier last year, and now she's our graduate assistant with us, Karen Powell. She's videotaping. She didn't know much about West Point, and now she's actually a very strong young woman, and she's an aviation branch. So I'm proud of the influence every day. But thank you, Temple, for everything. You mean a lot to me, and beat Buffalo tonight. And I actually have to drive to Colgate, so beat Buffalo and Colgate.
Congratulations, Alma Cavaci, Hall of Fame. Carl Imhauser, men's gymnastics, 1994 to 97. From Neshannock, New Jersey, Immaculata High School. Carl Imhauser was an outstanding student athlete, the NCAA horizontal bar champion in 1996. He earned All-American honors in 95 and 96. He was the Eastern Intercollegiate Gymnastics League champion both in 96 and 97. Carl was named a GTE District 2 Academic All-American Scholar Athlete all 4 of his seasons while majoring in electrical engineering. He won 3 ECAC event titles. A team captain, Carl helped Temple win 4 consecutive EIGL team championships. Carl earned his PhD in mechanical engineering from Drexel in 2004. He is currently an instructor in the biomechanics department at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York City. A doctor in that. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Carl Imhauser, please welcome to the Temple Hall of Fame.
Hello. I'd like to thank the administration of the Temple Athletic Department for this honor. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. And I guess I'd like to start, lots of people to acknowledge for this, and first and foremost I'd like to acknowledge my parents, both my, and especially my mom. I think for, you know, any success that a child has is due to the perseverance of a parents. So I really need to acknowledge my parents, and also my other brothers and sisters who, you know, you fight it out, but, you know, in the end, you always go back to your family, and they're there to support you. So I have to acknowledge them. Thank you very much. And then, you know, in gymnastics, obviously, in any sport, you're training a lot, and then your second parents are your coaches. So I have to acknowledge from the beginning to collegiate levels all the coaches in my life who had such an impact, and had such a pleasure to have interacted with and learned so much from the beginning. Paul Shields, Rich Ferrano, Jim Surgeon, Matt Stevenson, and then all the way through college, and Fred Turoff. And that transition from high school and club level gymnastics to the collegiate level, it's always I appreciate Fred's influence in that he let you he let you figure it out for yourself, which is looking back, you're confused and you're frustrated, but in the end you realize that that's what you need to do. You need to grow up in college, and I appreciate that in Fred, and not only being obviously a great coach. Moving on, I need to acknowledge the captains that came before me as an undergraduate. I need to acknowledge them for making this opportunity possible and fighting for what they believed in. And I will always have, Dan Ackerman, Dewey Bader, Christian Collins, who's here, Dave Frank. Those guys they're always in your life now, and you always have something special to share going forward. And then also for the gymnasts that you captain and mentor, the gymnasts now. My colleagues, Kenny Sykes, Dave Frank, Darren Gerlach. You learn so much through gymnastics, and for the younger guys here watching, I think gymnastics or any sport is a great surrogate for what you do in life. Be passionate about it, go after it. It's the only way really to keep at it when things get tough, and it also keeps knowing what you want keeps other people from pushing what they want onto you. So always kind of keep that in mind and decide what you want and go for it. And then I also want to acknowledge the support of the Temple Athletics for supporting it's amazing what wide diversity of sports the athletic department supports. When I came here, the fencing team were national champions, and so that's rare to find in an athletic department, and I think I appreciate that support that the Temple Athletic Department gives this wide diversity of sports, and that's tough to find, and I think it's important, and to have this diverse body that eventually go out into society and give back to the university and reflect positively on the university. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much, and I appreciate it very much.
Dr. Carlin Hauser, ladies and gentlemen, Temple Hall of Fame. Carl's coach, Fred Turoff, would be here, except he's overseas at a competition. I'm sure he's very, very proud today, as are all the gymnasts back there. Thanks for coming. Fellas in the back, our gymnast team. How about a hand for them coming out here this morning? Tony Bayard Jenkins, field hockey, 1989 to 1992. From Arroyo, New Jersey, Highland Regional High School. Tony Bayard earned All-American honors in field hockey in 91 and 92. Named a finalist for the prestigious Honda Broderick Award and the NCAA Woman of the Year, she was named the 1989 Atlantic 10 Conference's Rookie of the Year and an All-Tournament Team honoree. On the career charts, Tony is 5th in scoring and 5th in goals scored. As a junior in 91, she scored a career-high 5 goals against Hofstra. Temple advanced to the NCAA tournament 3 times during her tenure. Tony also earned Atlantic 10 All-Tournament Team honors in 93 as an infielder with the Temple softball team. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you join with me inducting into the Temple Hall of Athletes, Tony Bayard Jenkins.
Good morning. I just want to say thank you to my family and friends for taking time out of their busy schedule and witnessing and celebrating this event, this special lifetime honor with me this morning. I want to say thank you to my husband, Kevin, my children, Kevin, Cameron, Corey, my mother, my father, my grandmother, my aunt, my mother-in-law, my brother, and Kristen. Thank you. First, giving honor to God, who's blessed me, and he continues to bless me daily. My mother and my father for their support and their guidance. My little brother who came to every game, whether he wanted to or not. Coaches, Michelle Madison, Pam Buston, and Liz Chu. My teammates over the years here at Temple University. The trainers, the academic advisors, family and friends. Last but not least, I owe a big thank you to Mrs. Tina Sloan Green. I first started playing competitive field hockey at the age of 7 here at Temple University under the direction and guidance of Tina Sloan Green and the Greater Sports of Philadelphia Youth Field Hockey Program. Never did I realize that my life would come full circle and I would be reacquainted with Miss Tina Sloan Green during my collegiate career at Temple University. Where would I be without the aforementioned people? Thanks again. I owe a special thanks to my mother, Gloria Byard. What better role model to have than my own mother? My mother was the first African-American field hockey player to tour with the National Field Hockey Team. She too is a Hall of Fame American. My mother put a field hockey stick in my hand at the age of 3, and I never looked back. My mother was my coach, my trainer, and she demanded a lot for me over the years. She did a great job preparing me for the collegiate level. My senior year at Highland Regional High School, I was considered one of the top recruits, and I chose Temple University to be a Temple Owl. Temple not only helped me athletically, but it helped jumpstart my professional career. In April of 1994, I attended a job fair on campus and interviewed with Ford Motor Credit Company. I was hired a few months later in 1994, and I am currently still employed today with the same company, Ford Motor Credit Company. In closing, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this prestigious honor. Temple University academic and athletic advisors, coaches, teammates, family, and friends. Unfortunately, I do not have a daughter to continue the family tradition, but I will tell you I have 3 wonderful sons that excel both academically and athletically. One of my mother's favorite quotes, which she still lives by today, "The will to win is not nearly as important as the will to prepare." That is why I am the individual I am today. Temple University Hall of Fame. To God be the glory. Thank you.
Tony Byard Jenkins, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Tony. What a Hall of Fame, Hall of Athletes that Temple has. And we have several people who have previously been inducted into the Temple Hall of Fame, and we'd like them to just stand and wave. Mr. Schreier's already standing. He's in the Hall of Fame. If all the Hall of Fame people are here today, they just stand up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give them a round of applause. Tony thanked the committee of the Hall of Fame, and I'd like them to mention them and ask them to stand, and we'll save our applause till later. Eric Rodell, Kristen Foley, Larry Doherty, John Baum, my good friend Dale Schreier, who I see every morning at 7 a.m. up here, Tina Sloan Green, Aaron Bittman, Peter Chodoff, Gavin White Jr., John McDonald, Ann Robinson, and Steve Conjar. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the committee. Pete Dempsey, baseball, 1976 to 78. Pennsauken, New Jersey, Pennsauken High School. An outstanding shortstop, Pete Dempsey earned first-team East Coast Conference accolades in 77 and 78. You look younger, but it was 77 and 78, Peter. During his tenure, the Owls won 3 consecutive East Coast Conference championships and made 3 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. In 77, Pete hit .404 with 10 home runs and 55 RBIs for the Owls, helping Temple advance to the College World Series. On the career charts, he is 2nd in RBIs, 5th in home runs, 6th in career batting, 9th in triples, 10th in runs scored, and 10th in hits. The Owls' leading hitter in 76 and 77 when he hit .404. Pete was drafted by the Phillies. He also played for USA Baseball in 77 for the Intercontinental Cup games in Nicaragua. The team won the silver medal. He currently works in management at UPS. Ladies and gentlemen, please won't you join with me in inducting Pete Dempsey, Temple Hall of Fame.
I have to bring out my 3x5 cards that UPS taught me to use over the years. I just want to know if I look like a funeral director. My dad says I look like a funeral director. This is harder than playing. I would like to thank Temple University, Temple Athletics, and the Hall of Fame Committee. My son told me to pause every now and then. I am truly honored by this induction into the Sports Hall of Fame. I never entertained even the thought of this happening. A little over a month ago, I got a phone call, and if it's not programmed into my phone, I don't answer it. Probably like a lot of you. And it went to voicemail. And it was right around dinner time. And I started listening to the message, and it said, "This is Coach Wilson. I've got something to tell you." And I don't think I even listened to the whole message. I hit the phone off, and I went in and I had dinner. And I'm sitting at dinner thinking that somebody on the team was sick. Somebody that I played with had passed away. And, sorry, I had no idea that this was going to happen. So I'm very thankful to hear it from such a legend that I played for in Coach Wilson. And I got to tell you, he did leave a second message. He said, if you don't call me back, I'm going to hit you 200 ground balls. And believe me when I say he hits you 200 ground balls, he hits you 200 ground balls every day. And that's one of the reasons I'm standing up here today. I have a lot of people to thank for this. Number one on my list is God. I truly believe he had a hand in this for me coming to Temple. I was already set to go to University of Maryland. I had a 4-year scholarship to play football. It was the summer of 1975 that I went down for a 2-day orientation. I set my classes up. I was in the football dorm, and I got home and I thought, I want to play football. I want to play the game I love. And at that point, I didn't know what was going to happen. And somehow I talked to Coach Paul Ward, who was my basketball coach at Pennsauken, who had previously coached at Overbrook High School and coached Will Chamberlain. So he called Coach Wilson up. And Coach Wilson came out to see me play in a summer game. He got there late, and he saw me bat one time, I believe. My dad tells me I popped up to first base. And then he told my dad, that kid can play. So how he could see that in me, I have no idea, but I'm really indebted to him for that. I had a full ride to Maryland. I turned that down, and Coach Wilson at the time would take scholarships and split them in half. I had a tuition and book scholarship. And that's how he would get the players in the Temple. And I appreciate that. I know my parents appreciated that with my older son already in college. Number 2, I'd like to thank my parents for their love, their support. Thank you for your sacrifices, not only for me, but for my 4 siblings. You can imagine 5 of us playing sports at the same time and them running us around. Going on trips down to Ocean City and my dad running me up to playoff games. And I really appreciate the sacrifices that you put into all your kids. Dad, thank you for your competitive nature, for teaching me, for playing catch, for being there and for being here today. To my coaches, Coach Wilson and Coach Flynn, thank you for being positive, enthusiastic, and persistent. And at work we call that pep. And it really pays off when you're dealing with people. Thank you for teaching me about the game of baseball and the right way to play this great game. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for allowing us as players to be individuals, yet when we put the uniform on, we became one team. And during that time, we were an awesome team. And I can remember playing against Westchester, and they would come out, and all the players had to wear their uniform the same way. And in fact, it looked like Hunter Pence running out. And I love Hunter Pence. But if you can imagine a whole team running out on the field like that, I didn't know one player from the other. And then we would run out there, and we would put on an infield-outfield drill that would probably psych out most of the teams. They probably wouldn't even want to come on the field with us. And it was a result of all the hard work and the dedication of all the players, and the dedication of Coach Wilson and Coach Flynn. It was an honor and a privilege to play for you, Coach Wilson, and an honor and a privilege to play for you also, Coach Don Flynn. To my teammates, thank you for your friendship, your camaraderie, on and off the field, for making me a better player and a better person. To me, all of you are Hall of Famers, because not only were you successful in the field, but you were successful in life. And I just named a few guys I played with. Jack Don, who was inducted last year as a principal. Dave Thornton played with the 1972 team, who also went to the World Series, owns his own company. Tommy Morrison was probably one of the tenacious catchers and players I ever played with. I believe he retired as a state trooper down in Delaware. Steve Javi, an NBA official. Eddie Hayes, a very successful lawyer in Philadelphia. Ed Wade, former GM for the Phillies and now with Houston. Dan Slick, Bob Steele, successful businessman. Rod Johnson, my double play partner, and 30 years with Lockheed Martin. John Sandos, chiropractor, and I put a pitch in for you, John. When I came to Temple, John was the shortstop at Temple. And we went down to Florida, and I was sitting there watching the games. I wasn't playing, I was a freshman, and he was the star shortstop. We get to the end of the spring training, he dove for a ball up the middle, separated his shoulder, and I got a chance to play. And when John got better, sorry John, John was our left fielder. But positive things come out of that. I couldn't pick a better brother-in-law. I married my sister. And if you need your back worked on, he's really good. Mark Santabianco, Mark DiGiacomo, Paul Nickerbrugge, Jim and Tom Beck, all successful in life. And really a special thanks to Jamie Gladmore for all he's done with the alumni and the baseball program. So thank you, Jamie. In closing, I just want to give you a couple statistics real quick. I know I went way over my time, but this is the type of team that Skip Wilson coached. In 2011, Southern Mississippi, here's a statistic you don't usually hear about. Played 58 games, turned 81 double plays for a 1.4 double plays per game. In 1982, Temple played 35 games, turned 60 double plays for a 1.71. In 1980, they turned 80 double plays for a 1.2. And in 1978, when I played with Rod Johnson, who was inducted in 1994, we turned 89 double plays in 42 games for a 2.12 double plays per game. And that record still stands today in the NCAA record books. And it's just indicative of the type of team we were. We were strong up the middle, we had a strong defense. 1977 was a little different. The batting average for a Division I team was 286. Our team in 1977 hit 353 as a team. And all 9 starters batted at least 315. So it was an era where baseball, it was a dynasty going on. There was a lot of pride putting the Temple uniform on, and I appreciate all the work that Coach Wilson has done over the years, 45 years of coaching. Ryan Wheeler has taken over the program, and I wish him the best to turn the program around and get it back to the glory days. And hopefully that will happen. And I look forward to seeing that in the future. But once again, I'm truly honored by the induction. I was shocked. And I want to thank my family for coming. I want to thank all of you for coming out. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Real quick, there's one thing out. The jury's still out for whether it's harder to hit a golf ball, Jack, or it's harder to hit a 95-mile-per-hour spinning fastball with a round bat square. That one's still out. I don't know the answer to that one.
Congratulations, Pete Thompson. The difference is, Pete, that little ball is on the ground and everybody's got to be quiet. You can't make any noise. When you're up at bat, there's plenty of noise out there. What a guy. He takes the guy's job and then steals his sister, too. How about that? That's worthy of the Hall of Fame, I think, right there. Congratulations, Peter. That music wasn't to get you off the stage either. It's unlimited up here. I just wanted you to know. It had nothing to do with that. Jack Hubbard, golf, 1976 to 79. Upper Dublin, Pennsylvania, Upper Dublin High School. Jack Hubbard earned All-American honors in golf in 78 and 79. A 4-year letter winner, he helped the Owls to 4 consecutive undefeated seasons, 3 NCAA tournament appearances, and 2 East Coast Conference championships. In 78, Jack won the East Coast Conference championship and was the top scorer in the Yale Invitational. He captained the Owls as a senior in 79, the best season in Temple golf history. The Owls finished 17th in the nation. Jack earned 2 degrees from Temple, including an MBA in 86. An attorney, is the former general counsel to the NCAA Golf Coaches of America. Jack currently has his own law firm in Philadelphia. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you join me in inducting Jack Hubbard in Temple Athletic Golf?
I'd like to thank the Owl Club and the Hall of Fame Committee for this great honor. Like Pete said, I was extremely surprised to hear that I would be so honored with the list of great people that are in the Hall of Fame. Some of which I knew growing up, since I grew up in the Philadelphia area. Knew people like Mo Katz and Bob Peffel as a young golfer. Ultimately, I got to know Wayne Harden and Gary Harden. But I did suffer from something that's very common in the Philadelphia area, and that is that diamond in the backyard problem that Temple has in recruiting athletes. And when I was in high school, I thought it very unlikely that I would stay in the Philadelphia area to play golf. Not only was Temple so close, but it had that snow problem those 4 months of the year. So I truly considered that I was going to go somewhere south. But my father was a golfing buddy of Wayne Harden, and I knew several Temple Owls, and I knew the quality of the program they had. So my father and Wayne conspired to have me go meet John McDonald one day. And the meeting went as I expected. John explained the various merits of being a Temple Owl, most of which I already knew. And as I was getting ready to leave, John says, "Well, where are you thinking about going?" And I said, "I don't know, I was really thinking more like Wake Forest, Florida, Georgia, schools like that." And John looked at me and said, "Well, hopefully you'll play well enough to make one of those teams, because we're going to kick their ass." And I immediately knew that that's where I was going to play. I sat down and we left that meeting, and I was a Temple Owl. And on the way home with my father, he said, "How are you going to tell your mother?" And I said, "Tell her what?" He goes, "Well, she thinks you're going to take that offer from Penn." So Mom was a little surprised when I went home and said I was going to Temple, but she's also very happy. I'd like to acknowledge John McDonald, who is here today. I'd also especially like to acknowledge my parents. My father flew up from Florida to be here today. Early on a golf trip for Temple, we played a tournament, and I came in thinking we were doing pretty well, looking at our team scores. They were all pretty good. Until you looked at the other scores that were up there, and they were all better than ours. So that night at dinner, one of the seniors on the team said to John McDonald, "Coach, don't you think maybe we're in a little bit over our head here?" And if John's eyes were laser beams, he would have disintegrated the poor kid. Because what John said, and I never forgot this, was, "What's the point of playing against people you already know you can beat?" And that was a very liberating statement. It actually relaxed us, and we went on to do pretty well in that tournament. And I know I learned my lessons at Temple pretty well, because after I graduated and I was practicing law with a good friend of mine, Jack Rogers, who's here today, whose uncle, John Rogers, is also in the Hall of Fame. He said to me one day, "Where'd you go to school?" And I said, "Temple." He said, "Well, that figures." He said, "Because one thing I know about Temple guys is they're never deterred by the facts." So I took that as a compliment. I'm not sure if it was or not. So I just want to say I'm honored to receive this award. I take it more as a challenge going forward than a reward for past duties. I have a similar feeling when I accepted a scholarship to come here that was just that Temple had selected me to perform. And now I feel the Hall of Fame Committee has selected me to somehow support this program going forward and to help Temple athletics. So hopefully we'll beat Buffalo today, and thank you very much.
Jack Hubbard, ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame, golf. A few short years ago, we decided to induct teams that we had from our past, teams that won championships, teams that distinguished themselves in Temple's long and glorious history in intercollegiate athletics. We have two very special teams that we're honoring today. The 1982 and 84 women's lacrosse teams. Special because the 1982 lacrosse team was the first Temple women's team to win a national championship, ladies and gentlemen. Not to be outdone, the 84 team was the first Temple team in men's or women's to win an NCAA national championship. Temple Hall of Fame coach Tina Sloan Green led the Owls to national championships in 82 and 84, as we mentioned. Temple won the AIW when that was the national platform for women's athletics in 82 and 84, the NCAA. The 82 squad compiled a 16-2-1 tie record. Temple defeated defending AIAW champion Maryland 3-2 to win the crown. The Owls had upset Penn State 6-5 in overtime in the semifinals. The 84 team had a 16-2 record, again topping Maryland 6-4 in the championship game. The Owls trounced Delaware 13-3 in the semifinals. The two championship teams featured 10 All-Americans and 4 Temple Hall of Fame inductees, including players who went on to participate in World Cup competition and earn induction into the U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Kathleen Barrett Geiger from the class of 86, both an All-American and Temple Hall of Fame inductee, was inducted into the U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame in 2001 in the midst of appearing in 5 consecutive World Cups. Another Temple Hall of Famer and All-American, Marie Schmucker from the class of 84, still ranks 3rd all-time in career goals for the Owls with 211 goals. Debbie Kelly from the class of 82 was the team's goalkeeper for 82 championship, making 273 saves that season, which still stands 1st all-time in a single season. Her 698 career saves ranked 3rd all-time. Chrissy Muller from the class of 87, one of the program's most recent Temple Hall of Fame inductees in 2009, was also a decorated player who earned All-American honors and participated in the 1989 World Cup. Other All-Americans for Temple from the 82 and 84 squads include Barb Bielecki, Denise Barassa, Jackie Devaney, Sharon Garber, Monica Mills, Carol Schultz, Susie Shirk, and Sue Yeager. We're going to have the 82 team represented by Captain Christine Smith, Ronnie Pack Anton. If they would please come up. And ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in inducting the 1982 Temple Women's Lacrosse.
Good morning. It's a great honor to be here today, and on behalf of the 1982 Women's Lacrosse Team, I'd like to thank Temple University, the Department of Intercollegiate Athletics, the Owl Club, and Coach Tina Sloan Green for this Hall of Fame recognition and memorable occasion. So, talk about being nervous. I had 4 people this morning to tell me, imagine everyone in your underwear. We'll see how that goes. Our win of the AIAW National Championship Tournament in 1982 was quite significant. It was the first time a women's team had won a national championship for Temple University, and only the 5th for the university's entire sports program. It was the beginning of a dominant winning streak for Temple lacrosse, led by Tina, who went on to lead the Lady Owls to 2 more national championships and 11 consecutive NCAA Final Four appearances. As Bill just mentioned, with a 16-2-1 record, our team outscored our opponents 193-70. With a challenging roster of teams including Maryland, Penn State, Ursinus, Westchester, and Rutgers, just to name a few, this was not a cakewalk. Our opponents were good. What we lacked in finesse, we made up in toughness. And Tina instilled a great desire in us to win, and her quiet demeanor fueled our passion to be the best. It's interesting to note, too, that this 1982 team was quite talented, but fairly young. In fact, our leading scorer was a freshman, Sue Yeager, with 72 points, followed by sophomore Marie Schmucker with 45. There were only 3 seniors on the team, and our assistant coach, Gwen Cheeseman, had joined the team just a year earlier. When we came together for practice, we focused completely. Tina encouraged us to leave all our worries at the door and just concentrate on what we had to do. She was a strong unifying force for a team of diverse players and an assortment of academic pursuits. We were all good students and even better lacrosse players. So this morning we've had a few minutes to gather and catch up with each other, but wherever our paths have taken us, we can all still identify ourselves as a Temple lacrosse women's national champion.
Yeah, I need glasses, sorry. We are older than we look. We are national champions, and that's, it didn't seem like such a big deal when we were playing, because we loved to play, but it's a pretty big deal. Not many people can say they're national champions, so kudos to us, right? I don't know about you, I was not one of the better students, so that wasn't me, but we were good at lacrosse. Christine mentioned a bunch of other teams that we played against that were amazing teams. We weren't, you guys know what I'm talking about. We did not play pretty lacrosse. Just wasn't in it. We played Temple lacrosse, and that was a lot different. We were tough, we were physical, we were tenacious, and boy, were we fast, right, Tina? We were unconventional. We did not play lacrosse like everybody else. All Tina would yell, because she loved that running game, just give the ball to Sue Stimmel. She will sprint it down the field. We also were, that I can recall, the first team to throw in a zone defense, and nobody, I mean, it was like basketball. It's a lot like basketball now, the teams that play, but nobody knew how to score against our team, our zone defense. So we did it unconventionally. So how is it a bunch of girls from the surrounding suburbs of Philadelphia, because that's kind of how we recruited back then, right? Who's going to come here? How is it we did so well? And we were called the Broad Street Bullies back then, weren't we? As Christine mentioned, we came to practice and played with heart, intensity, and passion and determination. We just loved to be on the field. We continually challenged ourselves and paved the road for future generations, and I really believe that we did that. The kids today, it's a different time. I feel so lucky, even though that I'm old, that I played back then, because it's totally different having boys, but young children in college now. It's just, they kind of suck the fun out of it. We played because we love to play. We were one big family, weren't we, Tina? Tina's daughter Tracy was at every practice and every game, and when Frankie Jr. was in her, in utero, there was Tina running up and down the field, and Frank Sr., wherever you are, came to every game as well. We shared team camaraderie unlike any other out there. Tina was a quiet force. I think that's why she hired Sue Stahl later on. You had to listen really hard to hear Tina, but you just knew it when she looked at you. When she wanted something done, you just did it. Watching Tina on the sideline on a close game, who wants to demonstrate? Up and down the sideline, going crazy. It was amazing to watch. And Christine said it earlier, the 1982 team was young. The next year, when we were the first year in NCAA in '83, we came in second. We lost in that final round to Delaware. 7 players from that team then were on the '84 team and took it to a national championship. And it was a clear indicator that Tina's talent and consistency, as a coach. And I hear a theme here. It's like everybody, not even in the lacrosse world, is naming you, Tina. Now I speak for myself and all of my teammates in this room. Tina was more than a coach. You're a friend and a mentor. You not only bred champions, but you made us better women and better people. Getting choked up. There are many of us here in this room today that are still involved in lacrosse because of the love and passion that you just drew out in us. I included, I'm a Division I national lacrosse umpire, and there are college coaches in this room, high school coaches, so a lot of us are still involved. So thank you, Tina.
How about those two ladies, national champions, 1982, AIAW. I jumped the gun on that '84 team. I believe we had a couple soccer national championships for men, Larry, right? So I got carried away with that '84, but the 1984 team was the first NCAA Women's Championship, national championship for Temple University. And representing that great team, we're so honored to have both teams with us today. Captain Susie Chelano-Shirk and Lise DeAndrea, please come on up and say hello.
Good morning, everyone. Go Owls. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for the Owls. I'm not going to repeat everything that Christine and Ronnie just said because we both completely agree with everything that was just said about Tina, about the team, about our experiences. We were only 2 years apart. Having played on both teams in '82 and '84, Susie and I shared a lot of great memories with Tina and the team. But we also want to thank Temple University and thank the athletic department as well as the Owl Club. John Baum and Jenna, thank you so much for your support in getting all of us here except for 2 of our players out of those 2 championship teams. So thanks to you guys. Spent a lot of weeks trying to find people because when you're a female lacrosse player, you've been married, maybe divorced, have moved. It's very difficult with the name changes to track people down if they're not still involved in some way in the university. So again, thanks to the Owl Club for helping us do that. This is the first time that many of us have seen each other since 1982 or 1984. So this event is threefold for us in that we all get to be back together again, and we can also enjoy each other's company from here on out. So thanks again. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here. It goes without saying, 27 years later, joining so many outstanding athletes in recognition and celebration of Temple's and the nation's most incredible talent. In 1984, that must be Schmucker shooting at the goal back there or something. In 1984, after ascending to the Final Four for the 4th straight year with a 14-2 season record, the Lady Owls showed up with their game face on. With 7 seniors on the squad and reminders of a tough loss to Delaware that took us to 2nd place in 1983, we dug deep as we prepared to take on Maryland. Again. Tina told us our biggest challenge was going to be to play as a team. After losses to Penn State and Maryland at the beginning of the season, Tina began to wonder if we had what it would take. She even asked us in practice one day, "Maybe you're not as good a team as I thought. Do we really have what it takes?" And that was all we needed to hear. It came down to teamwork, intensity, and passion, the hallmarks of Temple lacrosse. Our outstanding coaches, Tina and Sue, challenged us to be the best we could be and to play our own game. Winning 6-4 over Maryland, our 2nd championship and 2nd win over Maryland in a national championship, was sweet success at its best. We played with heart. It was raw emotion. Some people interpreted that as too rough, but we were just too passionate, and we were bleeding cherry and white. It was all about being a proud Lady Owl. That day in Boston still lives on in all of us. I know I day to day think back and reflect back on that. It's been so exciting to reconnect with our team after all these years and to be here today in the company of so many talented and successful women. I can't believe I'm just talking with everybody and hearing what everyone's doing now and where they've ended up. Tina and Sue, thank you again for your never-ending passion for our sport and for always believing in us. You always expected our best and encouraged us to be strong-minded and exceptional women. Your strength, courage, and focus were the pillar of Temple lacrosse and all of its success. We're honored to have had the opportunity to shine with you.
There's really not much more I can add to that speech, and I appreciate that you took the time to do that, and it really says exactly how I feel about coming here today. This is such a happy occasion. I haven't seen my teammates for so many years, and just to be able to come back and see them and chat and be part of it is wonderful. So I thank Temple University for that opportunity, bringing us back together as old teammates and our coaches, seeing them again. It's so wonderful. They're more than coaches to us. This is such a happy day and such an honor for me. Temple has given me such a great education that I have used throughout my whole life. As being a nurse, I could do anything I wanted to do as a nurse. And I've done about pretty much everything. Temple also brought me together with my husband for 30 years. So I owe Temple so much and so appreciative of everything. And I just love my teammates and just so happy to be here, so thank you.
I have one more personal note to add. I want to thank Susie Chilano, because if it weren't for Susie Chilano, I would not have played Temple lacrosse. I have a short little story to tell. I was walking down the halls of Johnson, 4th floor, the dorm at Temple, and one day I was walking down, I saw Susie walking down the hallway with her stick. And I said, "Hey, Susie, you play lacrosse? I didn't know that." Because I was not planning to play lacrosse in college. I came from a really demanding high school program. And I thought, well, there's no way I could keep good grades in college and still play lacrosse. So she's like, "Yeah, let's go out and have a catch sometime." So we went out and had a catch. And she introduced me to Tina. And she said, "You've got to come and meet the coach. who's just incredible. And once I met Tina, everything changed. And I want to thank you, Tina, and thank you, Susie, for helping me. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here today. So thanks again, and thank you, everyone. And we'd like to ask both the 82 and 1984 teams to come to the front, please, so that we can all be recognized.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 1982 National Championship lacrosse team and 1984. Let's hear it for those two teams. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to honor these two championship teams.